Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Anggraini from 5D class interpreting for mice industry. First, what is interpreting? Interpreting is the oral form of translation. So, what's the difference between translation and interpreting? Here is the key. First is mode of communication. Translation is written text from one language to another. Meanwhile, interpreting is translating spoken language in real time. The second is skill required. Translation requires strong writing skills and deep understanding of grammar, vocabulary, and text structure. Also, you need to have a good reading skill. On the other hand, interpreting requires excellent listening skill, speaking, and memorize. Number three is time or timing. Translation is delay time. Translators have time to research, revise, and refine, while interpreting is real time, done on the spot, requiring quick and accurate understanding. The last is the participant. Translators are the author, the translator, the reader, and we call it as one direction activity. Meanwhile, for interpreting are the speaker, the interpreter, and the listener, and it called as two-direction activity. Next is history of interpreting. First, ancient time. The first interpreter are found in Egypt. They usually became interpreter because of accident. Second is colonial era. Expansion of Columbus in the New World, who brought Indians and asked these Indians to learn Spanish so they can help him to communicate with the indigenous. The third is early time. Conference interpreting appeared in 1919 after English started to be international language replacing French. At that time, US President and Prime Minister of UK were unable to speak French. The last is modern time. In the modern era, interpreting has advanced with technology. For the next material is mode of interpreting. First is consecutive interpreting. The interpreter waits until the speaker pauses, then interprets what was said. For example, interpreting at Miss Universe. Second is simultaneous interpreting. Interpreting into target language at the same time as the source language is being delivered. Interpreter use equipment such as microphone and headphone. For example, conference at United Nations. Then we have the type of interpreting. Number one is whispered. The interpreter whisper the translation to a small group or individual. For example, at business meeting. Number two is cite. Occurs when an interpreter reads a written text in one language and immediately provides an oral translation into another language. For example, at courtrooms. Number three is conference. Involves simultaneous and consecutive interpreting at large meeting or conference, such as international summit. Number four, escort. Interpreting accompanying a client or a delegation during trips, business visit, or informal meeting. For example, clients have conversation with people who speak different language. Next is bilateral or liaison. Involves two-way communication between two parties speaking different language. Number six is telephone. The interpreters provide service over the phone, often in call center for emergency services. 7. Television. Involves simultaneous and consecutive interpreting for TV program, such as news broadcasts, interview, or live events. 8. Video conference is interpreting done through video conferencing platforms like Zoom, Skype, or Microsoft Teams. Number 9 is community. Used in public services setting such as school, social services, immigration services, and housing agency. 10. Court. Specifically used in legal setting such as courtrooms, police station, and other. The interpreter must be neutral. And the last is medical. Focus on interpreting between healthcare providers and patients. They are deliver the diagnosis, medical records, and others. I think enough for the material. Thanks for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.